everyone, welcome to this update video. I hope you're doing amazing today, and as we can see on this graphic from the National Hurricane Center, we have 3 areas to watch in the North Atlantic for potential development over the course of the next 7 days. So we have our area of the Caribbean now in code red, high formation chance. We've got that next area just north of Puerto Rico, and that other one near the Azores, which is highlighted in orange, and that orange highlight signifies a medium chance or probability of seeing development, and the chance has been increasing for that, and I really think it will have the potential to briefly become a subtropical or even a tropical storm. So let's go ahead and get straight to the details. So here we can see what is going on. There's that airflow pressure way out there in the North Atlantic. We see a lot of moisture towards parts of the northeastern Caribbean, and even in the eastern Caribbean as well is quite active. And then an airflow pressure is going to be forming in the southwest Caribbean by tomorrow. And the other cluster of action that we're seeing out there is associated with a tropical wave. And notice how all of this cluster is a bit further south than what we would normally see as the hurricane season commences and in the first couple months of the season. So that is because the intertropical convergence zone, that is the zone where the trade winds of the north and the south meet. It normally migrates further south as we head to the winter months and goes back further north as we head into summer. And tropical waves, they propagate along it. So we tend to see, that is the reason we're seeing all this activity, all this convection being a bit further south than what we would typically see in the earlier months of the hurricane season. And happy November as well. So we're now in the final official month of the season. It doesn't mean that we won't see anything at all after November 30th, but there have been many off-season storms between December and May, and it's certainly not out of the picture for this year either. I mean, anything can happen, and we have 3 areas to watch, pretty active for the time of year. So let's get straight into the details. Zooming closer to the Caribbean, here we can see what is going on. So again, quite a bit of action in the eastern Caribbean and towards other areas such as parts of Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Haiti, even parts of Central America. Not a whole lot of rainfall, but there's definitely been some activity around, and we're going to see a pretty decent increase in moisture as we head to the next couple of days, and even as that disturbance in the southwest Caribbean tries to get itself together. And within the next 3 days or so, that is when there could be impacts in areas such as Jamaica, for example. So as we're going to be heading into around Monday, go into Tuesday. So we're going to be looking at all the details in regards to what the models are forecasting. And first, though, we're going on to the rainfall forecast for now until tomorrow afternoon. And we can see here that it gets pretty colorful in parts of the North Caribbean, where we have those red shadings indicate rainfall amounts probably just up to an inch, around an inch of rain. The burgundy shading going up to 2 inches, that darker purple 2.5, and then going to the pink shadings 3.5, 4 inches of rainfall expected. So where we see all of the action offshore the Northeast Islands is going to be quite active there, but nonetheless there's likely to be some additional heavy rain across the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even towards Hispaniola, the southern Bahamas, and Turks and Caicos Islands. Parts of Cuba may also experience some increased rain. Similar thing for sections of Jamaica. Cayman Islands, some passing showers, maybe with some heavy downpours at times. A bit of moisture is within the vicinity of the ABC Islands as well, so it could be a little bit active there. Things will be a little bit on the drier side for Trinidad, Tobago, even going down to the Guyanas and parts of Venezuela. Sections of Colombia and throughout much of Central America will also be active, with some periods of heavy rain definitely possible. And with all these tropical systems loitering around and with all the rainfall expected, that is going to up that flood chance. So if you should encounter any flood waters in the event of heavy rain, please stay safe and do not take any unnecessary risks. Now let's go on to these disturbances individually. So we're starting out with this most recent one to appear on the map. So this appeared this morning, and it is given a 40% formation chance through both the next 7 and 2 days. So it could try to get itself together real quickly and become something. And a lot of the times, these subtropical systems, they will come on very quickly. I mean, there have been many instances where we see like a 10% formation chance, then within a few hours it goes up to 50, and then within another few hours we have a subtropical storm. So that's something that's definitely not out of the picture with this system. We'll see what becomes of it. And of course, the next name on the list is Patty. So that is the next name to be used for the hurricane season. And after that is Raphael. So Heading on to the next system, this one here highlighted in yellow is given a 10% formation chance. It's going to be interacting with land, but also it's going to be interacting with that other low pressure area in the Caribbean. So the influence it will have, let's go on to this. We see a 70% formation chance. Because of that other low pressure area, we're going to find this thing moving up a bit to the northeast for a while before it makes that curve to the northwest and moves potentially to the Gulf or towards Central America. And let's look at what the models have to show. So we're going to be looking at the ensembles. First we have for GFS, and here we can see them. So there, as I said, we're going to have these two low pressure areas interacting with each other. And it's likely that the one in the Caribbean that will be moving up to the northeast, it's likely that that will be the dominant one. So it's not going to be a case where we have one system here, another one here, they combine to make this massive system. That doesn't happen. One usually becomes more dominant than the other. So it's likely that we will see a northeastward track of that airflow pressure once it forms around tomorrow, and then we'll see a curve. Now look at these tracks, look at these different ensemble members where they go towards the vicinity of Jamaica, even Cayman Islands or Cuba. So all of these areas need to be on watch. And by the way, this is for the next 5 days. As we look at the Euro members, we see somewhat of a similar story, but we kind of have the tracks keeping the system a little bit further to the west. So we have a decent amount of members taking it within the vicinity of Jamaica, and we see a lot of them offshore just the same. And please note as well, this is not to show where the entirety of the system will be. It's just to track the center. Each of these different ensemble members are to track where the center could go. It's likely that the system will have a lot of moisture in association with it, which could increase that flood threat significantly. So even if the worst of it in terms of the winds, say it manages to become a tropical storm, even if those tropical storm force winds are going to be offshore, it may have so much rainfall being widespread, and even if it's not a very organized system, if it's disorganized, then that is going to result in more areas actually experiencing impacts from it, especially as it pertains to the heavy rainfall. So that is going to be a concern again around late Monday, going to Tuesday, potentially for Wednesday as well. So early next week is going to be that time frame for potential impacts in Jamaica. It's not 100% guaranteed. And also, how strong will it be? Well, that depends on the environment. We know that the waters are very warm already, and the upper level winds are getting a bit more favorable within the vicinity of the system. So once the trends continue, once the environment becomes very ideal, no doubt that we're going to be seeing some intensification taking place, and we could potentially have a tropical depression by late to this weekend or early next week, and maybe a named storm. In terms of the name, it's not a guarantee that it will become Patty, because again we have that other area which may try to quickly become a subtropical storm out there, and Patty is the next name, and after Patty the next name is Rafael. So we'll see what happens, but the name is kind of the least of the concern, because I mean it's the impacts that will be the importance here to be aware of. So of course guys, I'll be keeping you posted as time goes by though on the system. So just wanted to bring you up to speed with what's going on. Again, 3 areas to watch. We have a major rain threat for Northern Islands, the Leeward Islands, parts of the Greater Antilles, and eventually other areas such as Jamaica, as we're going to be heading into next week with that system either moving within the vicinity of the island or moving over the island. And that's in regards to where the center of it goes. But the increased rainfall is definitely going to be highly likely. And that is it for this update video today. So I really do hope that you found it to be informative. However, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. I'll get to you when I can. And remember to always be weatherwise.